Emporia, Kansas, at the beginning of the 20th century was a vibrant small town in eastern Kansas. Throughout the nation, Emporia would become known as the quintessential small town in the heart of America. Why did so many people know about Emporia? Native son William Allen White, as editor of the Emporia Gazette, became a well-known figure in American history. A friend to several U.S. presidents, a Pulitzer Prize-winning journalist, and a leader in progressive Republican politics. Better Homes and Gardens said to its readers,
"He is a man who has helped chart our nation's history, and whether or not you like it, has guided your own personal thinking and acting."
White's father, Allen White, was born in Ohio, where he earned a medical degree and moved to Kansas Territory in 1859. White's mother, Mary Ann Hatton, was born in Canada and orphaned at age 16. She worked her way through college and moved to Kansas to become a teacher in Council Grove. Mary soon learned that even though Kansas was founded as a free state, Southern sympathies remained after the end of the Civil War. When Mary invited an African-American girl into her classroom, she was terminated. Mary and Allen were married in 1867. The Whites had 2 children, William Allen and Frederick Hatton. Frederick soon died, leaving young Will as an only child. The family moved to El Dorado, where they farmed and opened their home as a hotel they called the White House. Young Will developed a love of books, which continued throughout his life, and an appreciation for politics from house guests like Elizabeth Cady Stanton and Susan B. Anthony. Allen was mayor of El Dorado when he died in 1882. Will was only a teenager at the time. He found work as a newspaper apprentice before attending the College of Emporia and the University of Kansas. He claimed it was sheer luck that he went into the newspaper business. He sent 3 letters seeking a job, one to a grocer, one to a merchant, and one to the editor of an El Dorado newspaper.
The grocer and merchant knew my desultory ways and rejected my job suggestion, but the editor knew my father and took a chance.
He later worked for the Kansas City Star and met and married Sally Lindsay, who would become his lifelong companion.
That was the smartest thing I ever did in my life.
William Allen welcomed the freedom of his own newspaper and purchased the Emporia Gazette for $3,000. He introduced himself to his readers.
In the first place, the new editor hopes to live here until he is the old editor, until some of the visions which rise before him as he dreams shall have come true. He hopes always to sign from Emporia after his name.
William Allen remained close to his mother. Mary would live across the garden from the family home in Emporia. William Allen and Sally had 2 children, William Lindsay and Mary Catherine. The Whites developed a lifelong love of the Colorado Rocky Mountains and returned there often. In Emporia, they purchased a Queen Anne house made of red Colorado sandstone, which became known as Red Rocks. The Whites wanted to remodel the house William Allen called
warded all over with bow windows and towers and gables and fibroid tumors.
They worked with famed architect Frank Lloyd Wright in planning a do-over, but ultimately turned instead to the Kansas City firm of White & White. A fire in 1920 destroyed the roof and the 3rd floor of the house. The family moved out and work began on the renovation to a Craftsman Tudor-style dwelling. While the house was yet under construction, tragedy struck. Daughter Mary grew to be a tomboy and loved to ride horses. While riding her horse at age 16, Mary collided with a tree limb. She died several days later. William Allen wrote shortly after her death,
"No angel was Mary White, but an easy girl to live with, for she never nursed a grouch 5 minutes in her life."
White was a well-known newspaper editor at the time, and this obituary for his daughter was widely distributed. The Whites turned to friends to help deal with the family's loss. Sally once remarked, "Food and guests are our only major vices. We love company. We like them so thick we have to fit them in with a shoehorn." White made a name for himself using editorials to sway popular opinion. He considered the Emporia populace gibbering idiots, and when they made him mad, he wrote, "What's the matter with Kansas?" In this editorial, he complained that Kansas was becoming anti-business and predicted the state would lose people and money. Widely reprinted by the Republican Party, the essay helped elect William McKinley as 25th President of the United States. The editorial also resulted in White's lifelong friendship with Theodore Roosevelt, one of 5 U.S. presidents to visit the White family home, which became one of the intellectual crossroads of the day, with visitors like author Edna Ferber and actor Douglas Fairbanks. Gifts from these noted guests can still be seen at Red Rocks today. William Allen received a Pulitzer Prize for an editorial in defense of free speech, and the following year ran as a third-party candidate for governor to defeat the Ku Klux Klan. Although he lost the election, he helped Kansas become the first state to outlaw the Klan. As White's fame continued to grow, they found opportunities to travel the world and collected antiques and art objects in China, Russia, and the Middle East. The White's son, William Lindsay, grew up at the Emporia Gazette. Sally said, "He cut his teeth on type and couldn't go to sleep without the presses running." When World War I concluded, he traveled with his father to Paris to witness the signing of the Treaty of Versailles and met the newsmakers of the day, including Presidents Theodore Roosevelt, William Howard Taft, Warren G. Harding, Calvin Coolidge, and Herbert Hoover. William Lindsay married Catherine Klinkenberg in 1931. Mrs. White, as she became known, was a fellow Kansan who had been a fact-checker at Time magazine and assistant curator at the Library of Congress. William Lindsay became an accomplished journalist and author in his own right. Prior to the U.S. involvement in World War II, he served as correspondent in Europe, covering the London Blitz and broadcasting an emotional award-winning editorial from Finland. He worked for the Washington Post and Fortune magazine and wrote 14 books. Several of his screenplays were made into major motion pictures. He and Catherine belonged to society circles around the world. When William Lindsay returned home from his war correspondent duties in England, he brought with him a new addition to the family, 3-year-old Barbara, a London war orphan. Her story was documented in her father's book, A Journey for Margaret, which appeared in Life magazine, and the book became a popular movie. When William Allen died in 1944, William Lindsay finished his father's autobiography, which received a Pulitzer Prize. At his father's wish, William Lindsay took over as editor and publisher of the Emporia Gazette, moving his family back to Kansas. After William Lindsay's death in 1973, Catherine became publisher. Upon her death, those duties were passed along to Barbara and her husband, David Walker. Their son, Chris White Walker, and his wife, Ashley, continue to run the hometown paper. The legacy of the William Allen White family is far-reaching. In today's world, it is difficult to imagine a hometown newspaper with national impact. The White family changed public policy and influenced popular culture in profound ways.